back, everybody. Today we're going to be going over this Cross Machine Tool lower that you see here. It's a PDW style lower. Now when this one first came out, I actually got one of the early models, as you guys will see when you get a look at the serial number. So this is one of the first ones that hit the market. And ever since then, these things have been growing in popularity, all kinds of adapters that try to mimic essentially what this lower receiver is doing. So pretty cool stuff. There's obviously some pretty big advantages to it. One downside, in my opinion, that we'll get into a little bit later, but what we're going to do now is do a little bit more shooting and take a look at some of the details of this lower receiver. Before I get into all the details, I just want to point out this piece of tape here is not a factory option. It's just covering up my SBR engraving. Because this is a registered SBR, I did go ahead and put the stamp in as soon as I got it in, and just covering that up. And moving on with the video, what you see here is a joint effort between CMT as well as Battle Arms Development for this stock here. So I'm sure some of the folks out there by now have seen stocks that look very, very similar to this, which are going to work on your typical AR-15 lowers. But the difference between those and this is that this is a one-piece billet system here. So the receiver is made out of 7075 T6 aluminum. It's got a good hard coat anodizing on there, mil spec. And you can see the stock adapter that would be used on most lowers is not needed here because it's actually built right into the lower receiver. So it's all one piece, very sturdy, very solid unit. Almost 2 years ago now, I reviewed one of the Cmt Ambidextrous Lowers, and this one's pretty similar in that most of the features are going to be ambidextrous on this one. Here we have our magazine release over here on the left side, as well as your traditional one on the right side of the receiver that you see here. We also have a bolt release, so it's kind of hard to see without the bolt being locked back in the receiver, but when this piece, your bolt catches back, you can push on that and that will drop it down. So when you have a lock back of your bolt, just push that and it'll drop it with your trigger finger. So no need to come up and hit the bolt release if you don't want to. I know some of the lefties out there will especially appreciate that. There are some other cool things about this receiver. Number one, they don't require any roll pins to assemble. So as you can see here, we do have a fully integrated trigger guard. It's nice and wide to allow for gloved hands or just to avoid rubbing your finger if you're out there shooting a lot of rounds through your rifles. It also has the roll pin that would typically be used on your bolt catch, replaced with a screw, I should say. So it is threaded all the way through. So all you do is use some Loctite and thread that in. No need to worry about punching it through and perhaps even damaging your lower receiver. The lower comes with everything you see here with the exception of your pistol grip, your fire control group, and your magazine release button, the standard one. It does come with the Ambi versions, Ambi features I should say, and of course it comes with your buffer tube, buffer, spring, and stock assembly. Speaking of the buffer, it's a proprietary buffer. You can see here it's a little bit shorter than what you'd see on your standard AR, and it weighs 3.3 ounces. The weights in there are tungsten, which I know a lot of folks like. And one question I had for the folks at CMT, because if you guys have been watching this channel for a while, you've seen me run this with 5.56 and full 16-inch barrels, as well as many, many times with my 10.5-inch 300 blackout barrel. With that, I've been running it suppressed, unsuppressed, with a subsonic load, with full power loads, and I've never had to change the buffer or spring out, never had a single failure with that combination. I wrote the folks over at CMT to see if they recommended switching anything out. They said no, so their recommendations seem to work with what I've seen. Like I said, I've had zero issues running that combination, so far good to go with any type of ammo and gas system that we've ran it with. Probably the biggest benefit to having a PDW type lower is that when collapsed, it's much shorter than your standard carbine length stock system. So this is a fully collapsed carbine length lower receiver with a B5 Systems stock on it. And you'll see here, if I kind of can line this up, I'll slide this over here so you guys can get a better look at it, but it is a full 1 3/4 inches shorter in the fully collapsed position. Now, that may not seem like a lot, but if you're getting in and out of vehicles, if you wear heavy armor and kit, that little bit of room can make a big difference. Once you add in your grip, fire control group, and magazine catch, the lower weighs in all together right at 2.25 pounds. So it's approximately exactly the same as your AR-15 with the A2 extension in stock lower receiver. So not too heavy at all, despite being the billet style, which a lot of folks criticize for it being heavy. It's just fine in terms of weight, nothing that you're really going to notice. Those are all the good things about the setup. There's two things I would change if I could. So one thing is going to be the safety here. Now this is just a standard AR-15 drop-in safety. So with the stock fully collapsed, or even in the first couple positions, like say there, when you go to swipe your safety, you absolutely can do it. It's not a big deal, but sometimes this will sort of hit your thumb first, and you have to slide down over it. Again, as you can see, it's not an issue, but if I was going to run this hard and on a duty gun, I would probably get some sort of enhanced safety. I've been posting photos of this lower on my Facebook page for over a year now, as well as Instagram, and viewers are constantly chiming in with what they think, which is great. And one thing that they bring up is that they don't like the fact that this piece here isn't actually carbon fiber. It has a carbon fiber look to it, but it actually appears to be some sort of Kydex. One good thing about it is that these are available in multiple different colors out there. I think there's like 5 different colors that it's actually available in, but some folks did want actual carbon fiber. Don't know what to tell you. It is what it is. In terms of function, it feels great. It doesn't get hot. Those are certainly things I do like about it, especially when you combine it with this nice metal stock here. I've had zero issues with it. It seems to be plenty comfortable despite not having a rubber butt pad. Of course, we're not firing heavy recoiling rounds in 5.56 or 300 blackout, but it seems to be very well built and no issues with it in terms of function. I think I covered most of the important details. I know I missed a couple of them. First off, I want to point out there is a flared mag well on there. So that way when you go to insert your mags, it is going to sort of funnel it in there. And of course, on the front here of the mag well, they do have these little built-in machine serrations, not only to save weight, but I know some folks out there like to grip the front of the mag well. So it'll give you a little bit of something to hold on to. So all in all, I really like this little receiver, but there are downsides. Like I talked about the safety, and the other big one that you're going to see out there is the price tag. So I checked right before shooting this video what these are actually going for online currently in 2016 over at Rainier Arms website. They have these in stock, and $625. Sticker shock, right? So that's pretty expensive. However, you got to keep a few things in mind. Number one, you're getting a full lower receiver with the exception of course, the grip and the fire control group and the magazine catch, like we said. So you don't really need to add a lot to it because you get your stock and your extension, buffer, spring, all that stuff with it. Additionally, it has almost full ambi controls. If you add your ambi safety in there, you would have ambi controls on the rifle. And it's kind of unique. Of course, they had to mill it and machine it all out and link up battle arms development. But all in all, it's a very good lower receiver. Whether or not it's worth that sticker price to you, I'm not sure. Either way, we'll put a link down below in the video description so you guys can go over and check it out on Rainier's site. But in terms of function, we've had zero issues with it, which is really the most important thing to most folks out there. So that's pretty much it. If you guys have any questions about the lower or anything else we talked about here in the video, you can always post below down in the comments section. You can also post over at my Facebook page as always. But thanks for watching, guys. Thanks for subscribing, and we hope to see you in the next video.